to go ahead and get started. And so today the focus is on something I heard this week by Mark Stevens. He's basically one of the premier yoga teachers. He literally wrote the book on how to sequence yoga practices and literally wrote the book on how to teach yoga. These are things that he's actually done. So I've taken a series of classes with him. And one of the things that he said that I was struck by was this idea that the pose happens in the pause. And so we're going to work on that today, specifically with how we're breathing. And we're going to turn that back to something that's referenced in the Yoga Sutras, specifically the 4 phases of the breath. And we're going to see how we can integrate that with movement to find the pause. Because I think it's kind of interesting. I don't think it's just that the pose happens in the pause. I think our lives happen in the pause. Our relationships happen in the pause. Our connections happen in the pause. But often we're just trying to move from A to B to C that we're not noticing the transition, the pause in between. So good morning, Julie. So we're going to work on that today and see what the heck happens. And if you're like, Jessica, that did not happen, I did not get a pause, that's fine. We're just going to see what happens. So to start, make sure you've got 2 blocks on a blanket. And then I want you sitting on something. So if you're sitting on a blanket, great. If you're sitting on a block, great. If you're like, Jessica, I'm going to sit on a pillow, great. But we're going to start seated. And the first thing that I'd like you to do is, just because we're trying to find that ability to pause, I want you to remove any flesh that's underneath your sit bones, which you feel like both sit bones are really rooted on your base. And then you might shift your weight a little bit forward and back, like a little rocking or a cat and cow at the base of the pelvis. You might even go a little bit right to left in order to find your sense of stillness. And then once you find that there, you can allow the hands to rest wherever is comfortable for you on the thighs. Soften the gaze or close the eyes. And I want you to still keep the awareness in the body, in the pelvis, and then imagine that you're stacking every single vertebra of the spine from the pelvis up so that you've got a long, long, beautiful spine. From there, you might draw the shoulders up towards your ears, draw the shoulder blades back and allow them to slide down the back. And then notice where your head is. Maybe you draw your chin a little forward or a little up, a little right, a little left, finding your neutral there where the head can just kind of hang. And then I want you to just take 3 breaths. Big breath in and maybe an audible breath out. Yeah. Another one just like that. And very last one. Now go ahead and close your lips and continue to just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And the invitation here is to become engaged with the breath so that you can start to make your inhalation maybe a little bit longer, a little bit easier. And then notice if you can do the same thing to the exhalation, making it a little bit longer, a little bit easier. So in Sanskrit, your inhale is called puraka. You're drawing the breath in. And then in Sanskrit, the exhale is called richaka. And Stevens talks a lot about the etymological origin of this word, and it's to recharge. The prana is recharging your body. And as you continue to just breathe in, you might start to notice that there's a little bit of suspension at the top of the inhalation. And as you start to breathe out, you might start to notice a little bit of a suspension at the bottom of the exhalation as well. And so that suspension has its own 2 names. Generally, they're called kumbhakas. And the more that you can breathe in fully, you can start to find your kumbhaka, that pause, that suspension. And the more you can exhale completely, you can pause and you can find that suspension. And so you'll just take 3 more breath cycles here on your own, allowing the suspension to come in an effortless way by you simply relaxing and releasing any tension. And everything that we do in our practice today will be with the goal of trying to find those momentary pauses. Those kumbhakas, as they're called in Sanskrit. Now you can keep your gaze closed or gently open your eyes, but on your next in-breath, go ahead and sweep your left arm up and overhead. At the top of your inhalation, just pause and notice the breath filling into the chest. As you exhale, lower the right hand to the right and take a little side bend to the right. You might inhale and find more length through the left fingertips, left armpits. Top of the inhalation, let the breath fill the armpits, the chest. And then exhale, you might deepen your side bend to the right. Bottom of the exhalation, just allow the belly to come to the spine. Inhale, find a little bit more lift and length through the left arm, the chest. Top of the inhalation, find that pause. And then as you exhale, you might deepen the side bend. Again, exhaling, bottom of the exhale, belly comes to spine. As you inhale this time, the left arm comes all the way up. At the top, pause, fill the breath. And then exhale, lower the left arm all the way to the floor. Notice the pause there. Notice the difference between the right side and your left side. And then as you're ready, we'll inhale and sweep just your right arm up and overhead. Top of your inhalation, pause, really feel the breath still in the body. And then exhale, a little side bend towards the left. The left arm might walk to the left. The bottom of the exhalation, the belly comes to the spine. As you inhale, you'll find a little bit more length and lift through the right arm. Top of your inhale, notice the breath widening the collarbones. And then as you exhale, deepen the side bend. You've got one more breath cycle like this, just on your own, and just start to notice the inhalation creates space, it creates movement, it creates expansion. The suspension at the top allows that to continue to expand. And then the exhalation, you can deepen. Bottom of that exhalation, the kumbhaka deepens it even further. Next in-breath, right arm comes up at the top. Really feel the suspension. And then exhale, lower the hand down. Fantastic. You'll start to crawl forward onto your hands and your knees. And you might bring your blocks to the upper outer corners of your space. You might bring your knees onto some padding underneath or padding underneath your knees. But once you find yourself here, we'll just take a moment to pause. Again, finding our hands directly underneath our shoulders, knees directly underneath our hips. And we're going to just deconstruct our cat-cows for today. So as you inhale, find a long neutral spine, pause, broaden the collarbones. Now as you exhale, scoop the belly, start to round through your spine, finding your cat shape. Notice what it feels like. You're completely empty there. And then when you need to, you'll inhale back to a neutral tabletop position. Pause. Broaden the collarbones, find the length. Exhale, scoop the belly, round the spine back to your cat shape. Empty all the breath, notice the suspension. And then when you need to, you'll inhale and come back to your neutral tabletop position. Yeah. 3 more just like that on your own. And you'll notice that you can scoop all the belly muscles up to your back body. And then when you're there, you can push your hands down even further, drop your tailbone even more. And on that suspension, you found the pause. And you just pause and you breathe, holding the breath out, pushing the floor away, experiencing, the pose. And then when you inhale and you come back to that neutral position, you pause there too, and you broaden through the collarbones. The heart reaches forward, the tailbone reaches back. Should be our last one, exhaling and rounding all the way in, getting rid of all of the breath. At the end of your pause, you'll inhale and come to a neutral spine. And then you'll pause here, filling the breath into the collarbones. Exhale, scoop the belly to the spine in that neutral tabletop position. Now this time as you inhale, melt your heart, lift your bum, lift your crown, cow shape. Top of the inhalation, pause, breathe across the collarbones, hug the shoulder blades on your back. Yep. Exhale, scoop the belly back to tabletop position. Great. 4 more on your own. Inhaling, coming into your cow shape. Top of the inhalation, broaden the collarbones, breathe deeply into the chest. And then exhale, low belly comes to spine. Yeah, to find your neutral position. Yep. 3 more. Inhaling, finding the articulation, finding the breath. Yeah. Pause, suspend, and then exhale into your tabletop position. Awesome. Inhale, find cow. Broaden across the collarbones, find the suspension. Yep. And then exhale back to tabletop. Great. From here, let's go ahead and walk our hands about one hand footprint forward. Draw your big toes to touch and separate your knees perhaps a little wider apart. Knees forward to your hands, and then exhale all the breath from your belly as you push your bum back towards your heels. Notice if you need to now come to the tops of your fingertips. Continue to gaze at your hands for just a moment longer. Now, as you inhale here, push your bum back. As you pause at the top, see if you can widen through the shoulders, and then exhale, lower your chin towards your chest, your forehead to the floor. Now in this shape, you'll still stay with that pause at the bottom of the exhalation and the pause at the top of the inhalation. And you just notice what you notice. Good morning, Robin, how that feels here. We've got 2 more breath cycles here. Attempting to find the length, the movement that comes with the inhalation, the engagement that comes with the exhalation, and the suspension that comes in between. Fantastic. Let's add on. Inhale, gaze towards your hands. Top of the inhalation, pause. As you exhale, thread your left arm underneath you, palm faces up. Now with the left hand going to the right, you might start to twist a little bit towards the right. You might then walk your right hand back so it's close to your right knee in front of your left arm. From there, you might push down into your right fingertips. And again, you're paying attention. The inhalation finds the length in the spine. The top of the inhalation, you hold that suspension, you breathe into your chest. As you exhale, you rotate the ribs a little bit more towards the right. Bottom of your exhalation, on that retention, you draw the belly in. Nice work. On your next in-breath, go ahead and walk your right hand forward if it came back. Go ahead and walk your left arm forward. And then just take a moment to notice the difference between the sides. From here, we'll switch sides. Inhale, gaze towards your hand. As you exhale, walk your right hand underneath you to your left. You might stay right here. You might walk your left hand back. And again, we're focusing on the pause. So you inhale, you find length through your spine. Top of your inhalation, notice that suspension, and then you naturally exhale and rotate the rib cage to the left. Bottom of that exhalation, notice how it draws the belly in a little bit more. And then just notice the cycle complete itself. You've got 1 more breath cycle here on your own, just pausing and breathing. And then when you're ready to come out, you'll walk your left hand forward again. You'll unwind the right arm and walk it forward as well. From here, let's go ahead and inhale and come back forward to hands and knees. Top of your inhalation, pause, broaden the collarbones, and then exhale, round through your spine, find your cat shape. Yep. Inhale, come into your cow shape. So find the suspension. We're linking them all together now. Top of the inhalation, find the pause, and then exhale, round through the spine. Bottom of the exhalation, find the pause. You've got 4 more just like this. And you're noticing that by doing it this way, hopefully you should feel your core engaged just a little bit more in your cats and your cows as it moves you through that. There might also be a greater sense of satiability, or I feel more satiated, moving a little bit slower in this manner. All right, you've got 1 more set on your own. Nice work. Okay, let's find ourselves in neutral. Inhale here, again, push through the floor, broaden through the collarbones. As you exhale, scoop your belly to your spine. Hold that suspension out, and then inhale, slide your right foot back, toes curled under. Pause here. With the right foot back, hands pressed down, take a big breath in. Notice the suspension, exhale all the breath out. Next in-breath, float your right leg parallel to the floor. Now when you're pausing here with the right leg parallel to the floor, completely off, you'll notice that you can hold the breath and lengthen your tailbone back, and then exhale, tap your right toes to the floor. All the way to empty, notice the pause, and then inhale, lift the leg again. Top of the inhalation, pause, lengthen the tailbone back, hold the suspension, exhale, toes tap. You've got 3 more just like this. And you're just noticing, we're moving very slowly. We're seeing if we can keep our low belly engaged the whole time as you lift up to those inner thighs. Fantastic. We're going to call this our last one. So lift your right leg up, pause here, suspend the breath. On your next inhalation, you'll reach your right foot to the right, parallel-ish to your left knee, and then pause there. As you exhale, sweep the leg back behind you, pause there. Inhale, sweep the leg to the right, pause there. Exhale, sweep it back, pause there. 3 more on your own, and you're really just following your own breath. And if you feel like you need to move fast, see if you can move a little bit slower to find the suspension. So Stevens was talking about us being able to complete our breath cycle. He said that the human lungs have the capacity to hold 5 liters of air, which I found fantastic. But he said on average, because we don't fully inhale and because we don't fully exhale, we're only getting 1 liter. Okay, so the next time your right leg is out to the right, keep it there, and then lower your right foot all the way to the floor. Right foot in line with left knee. Draw the whole sole of the foot to the floor. Yep. Some of you are going to check in with your left toes and tuck your left toes under. From here, walk your hands forward about 1 hand print. Start to push your tuchus back towards your left heel. And we're trying to find a fun stretch on your inner right thigh. Can you come out for me? Walk your hands back. Walk your foot in just a little bit. Now and see if you can put back. Now walk your hands forward. So now do you feel stuff more on the inside of your right thigh? Great. And then we just pause and we breathe. And again, we're finding that suspension. We're trying to give the full exhalation, the full inhalation. Fantastic. On your next in-breath, start to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Okay, we're going to keep our legs as we are. Walk our hands over to the left. Your left hand will be in line with your left knee. Your right hand will reach up towards the sky. And then we've got our breathing here. So again, we're pushing down into our left hand, left knee, right foot, reaching up through our right arm. Now, some of you will stay right here. Some of you will reach your right hand all the way over to the left. And we've just got 3 breath cycles here. So again, you inhale, you find length from your right hand through the rib cage, through the foot. As you inhale at the top, pause, fill the chest with breath. Exhale, scoop the belly to the spine. Top, bottom of your exhalation, hold the breath out for just a moment. And you've just got 2 more breath cycles just like that. And ideally, we're relaxing any tension around our face. We're not forcing the suspension. We're not forcing the breath. The more that we just naturally take in the deeper breath, the suspension will happen. Fantastic. On your next in-breath, we'll go ahead and reach up through our right arm. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Go ahead and look down to the floor at your left hand. Some of you will need to walk your left hand forward an inch or so. You'll shift your weight onto your left hand, float your right leg parallel-ish as we kick our neighbor in the face. That's fantastic. Sorry, guys. Lift your right leg parallel-ish to the floor. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will bend your right knee. Take your right hand, grab the outside edge of your right foot. Draw your foot to your butt first. Push down through your left hand a lot. Draw the shoulder blade on your back and maybe rotate the chest up. Now, what happened to your breath? Are you still finding that full inhalation? Are you finding the natural suspension at the top? Yep, audible breaths are great. And find the exhale. Find the natural suspension at the bottom. Some of you will kick your right foot back into your right hand to find a chest stretch as well as a quad stretch. And we've got 1 more breath cycle here. Laura, can you lift the inside edge of your right thigh a little bit more? There we go. On our next exhalation, if you've got the right foot, gently release it. Open the right leg parallel-ish to the floor. Right arm comes back up to the sky. Lower our right hand to the floor. Lower the right foot to the floor. Walk your hands back through center. Step your right knee in to meet your left knee. And then take a pat and a cow. And you just notice what you notice. How's the breath? How's the body? How are you? And as you're directed to move on your own, still see if you can find those pauses, the suspensions in the breath. Okay, and then let's go ahead and try all that on the other side. So find your neutral spine once again. Inhale here, finding the suspension of the breath, the broadening of the collarbones. Exhale, the belly comes to the spine. Keep that engagement as the breath leaves you completely. Inhale, slide your left foot back, toes curl under. Hug all the muscles around the bone, and then on your next in-breath, float your left leg parallel-ish to the floor. On the suspension, the tailbone draws back, the crown draws forward. Yeah. And then exhale, tap the toes to the floor. Suspend the breath out. Inhale, lift the leg up. Suspend the breath at the top. Find more length by reaching forward through the center of your head. Yep. And then exhale when you're ready. Well, you've got 3 more of those for a total of 5. You put that down on purpose, which you did. Yeah. And we keep drawing our outer right hip back, even as we lift here through our inner left thigh. Yep. And just notice. I think this should be our last one, correct? Fantastic. So from here, we're going to take the movement to the side. So when you're ready, you'll inhale and reach your left leg to the left. Pause there. And then exhale, the left leg comes back behind you. Pause there. 4 of those, or 4 more rather. Exhale to the left. Pause there. Inhale back behind you. Pause there. 3 more. Exhale. Pause there. And come back. Pause there. 2 more. Pause there. And back. Pause there. This one will take out, so keep the leg to the left. Lower your left foot to the floor. Make sure your left foot is in line with your right knee. Sole of the foot presses down onto the floor. And then walk your hands forward about, 1 handprint or so. Check in with your right foot. See if you need to curl the toes under or not. And then you'll gaze forward to your hands as you push your pelvis back towards your right heel. And then you just breathe on the inside edge of that left thigh. Notice if you can pull your left kneecap up so that you can keep the joint protected from being hyperextended. Yep. There you go. And you just pause and you breathe. Pause and you breathe. You got it, Charles. Awesome. And then we're going to slowly come out of this. Let's start to walk our hands back underneath our shoulders. And then walk your hands over towards the right hand in line with right knee. And then reach your left arm up towards the sky. And then again, you can option to choose to just stay here and pause. You might reach your left arm alongside your left side body. And then again, we're still finding that breath. We're finding that pause. So the inhalation finds the length. The top of the inhalation, you hold the breath. Well, you don't really, but you suspend the breath and you feel the space. You exhale all the breath at the bottom of the exhalation. You feel that suspension. And you've just got 2 more on your own. And you may notice that even as you're suspending the breath, there's still a lot of internal movement happening. You may not be moving as much externally, but there's a lot of stuff happening. All right, next in-breath, sweep your left arm up, bring your left hand to your left hip. Go ahead and look down at your right hand. You might need to walk your right hand out to the right just a little bit, then shift your weight to the right, float your left leg up. Some of you will choose to stay here and just squeeze your top hip. Some of you will bend your left knee, take your left hand, grab the outside edge of your left foot, draw the heel close to your hip, then push down into your right hand and notice that rolls the right rib cage under. Then lengthen your tailbone down to your left knee. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will kick your left foot into your left hand. And again, you just pause. You just breathe. You notice if you're holding any tension in your face. Yeah, if you could let that go. Fantastic. From here, we're gently going to release. If you're holding the left leg, release the left leg back to the left. Left arm comes up. And we'll lower the left hand to the floor, left leg to the floor. Crawl your hands back to center. Crawl your knee back to meet the right. And then notice what it feels like to take some cats and some cows. Nice breath work, guys and gals. All right. We're going to go ahead and add on. So we still want to stay with that suspension. Everything that we're doing is trying to find the suspension. So next in-breath, go ahead and come to neutral. As you exhale, scoop the belly, curl both sets of toes under. Fantastic. Inhale, lengthen the spine, broaden the collarbones, feel that suspension. As you exhale, lift your tuchus up towards downward facing dog. Knees will stay bent for a moment. Take a breath in. Top of your inhalation, feel what it feels like to breathe into your collarbones, into your armpits, into your shoulders. Yeah. And then when you exhale, let the breath empty completely, feeling that belly come to the spine. Okay, this is going to sound fun. Inhale, lower your knees down to the mat. Top of your inhalation, you lightly touch the knees, and then you exhale, go back to your downward facing dog. Stay there for the exhalation, stay there for the suspension, and then inhale, come down, lightly tap your knees. They tap on the suspension, and then the exhale, go back. Yeah, you got 4 more of those. Happy push-up things. Hooray! And you're finding the pause, and the slower that you can move, the more strength you're building. And that happens not only physically, but that's actually happening energetically and chronically as well. So good job to you. Okay. I wasn't counting. I'm sorry, Roberta. So we'll say this is our last one. And when you get here for this last one, I want you to just pause there and I want you to stay there. And you're going to just, in down dog. And you'll just stay. Inhale. I want you to push your hands down and forward. Lift your hips up and back and just find a little bit of stretch through the spine. Now from here, draw your front armpits in, yeah, and you just find a little bit of breath. And again, find the suspension, find the breath that broadens the collarbones at the top of the inhalation. And then as you exhale, all the breath empties and the belly comes to the spine. Fantastic. Next, in breath, I want you to raise to the balls of your feet. As you exhale, bend your knees. And then on that suspension, walk your feet to the top of your space. When you get to the top of your space, you're going to resume your breath. You're going to notice that was probably a long time to have the breath held out. Now, hands can either rest on the blocks, the floor, or the shins in front of you. But we're going to try 4 of these. So exhale all your breath here. When you need to breathe in, you'll inhale and lift your spine halfway, coming to an Ardha Uttanasana. Pause, broaden through the collarbones, reach your tailbone back. Exhale, scoop the belly, reach your chest towards your knees, shins, and floor. Bottom of the exhalation, pause in your Uttanasana. Notice what that feels like. Then when you need to, you inhale back to Ardha Uttanasana. You got 4 of these. Top of the inhalation, pause, broaden the collarbones. When you need to, you exhale, you scoop the belly, your chest comes to your thighs, and your shins and your chin comes to your chest. In Uttanasana, let the breath empty out. Notice that pause. And then inhale 2 more times on your own, finding your Ardha Uttanasana. Yeah, that looks so nice. And then last one is finding the breath, finding the suspension. The pose happens in the pause. We're often so intent on trying to get somewhere, but we're already there. It's kind of fun. All right, this last one, let's go ahead and inhale Ardha Uttanasana. Again, inhale and pause. This time, exhale, scoop the belly and stay here. Bend your knees just slightly. Bring your right hand to your right hip, your left hand to your left hip. Okay, from here, again, inhale, find length, find the suspension, broaden the collarbones. As you exhale, scoop the belly to the spine. On your next inhalation, you will come all the way up to stand. If you were dizzy at all, drop your chin towards your chest and maybe soften the gaze or close the eyes. And this is the first time we're vertical, so just take 3 breath cycles here. And I want you to still find the pause. Find the pause, the natural inhalation, the natural exhalation, riding the full length of your breath, your being, your body. All right. If the gaze is closed, let the eyes softly open up. Inhale, circle sweep your arms out and up and overhead. Top of your inhalation, you pause, you find more length through the arms, length through the legs. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. When you reach your forward fold, let the breath empty completely. Then from there, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Again, find that suspension. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step back, plank pose. Pause here. A big breath in. Top of the inhalation, find more length through the spine. Yeah. Exhale, swoop that belly to your core. Next in-breath, shift your weight forward. Slower than you want to. Exhale, lower all the way down with control. Nice control, guys. When you get all the way to the floor, let the breath empty completely. Pause on that suspension. Tops of the feet come to the floor. Press down through your hands. Inhale, pull your heart forward and up to come into your cobra. Again, top of the inhalation, find the suspension. And then exhale, lower all the way down. You've got 3 more of those on your own, and you're just going at your height. You're going at your pace, but you're finding that suspension. So our upward dogs, our cobras, we can experience them as the suspension at the top. Everything else is the movement in and out of it. And we're just following our breath. Soften your face. Yeah. Last one. Full deep breaths. Nice work. All right. From here, go ahead and curl both toes under. Big breath in. Suspend the breath. As you exhale, push the floor away. Come to hands and knees or plank. And then you exhale back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Now again, in your down dog, you're finding the elongation with the inhale. You're finding the suspension with the exhale. Bottom of the exhale, you empty it completely so that you can take another breath. All right. Let's move on. Walk your feet so they're about hip distance apart if they're not. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Pause here. Inhale at the top. Find that suspension, find that breath. As you exhale, kick your right foot a little higher. Root your left heel down a little bit more. Yep. Inhale, find more length. Find that suspension. Exhale, right knee to nose. On the pause, put your foot down between your hands. Yeah. Now from there, hands might come to your blocks or fingers might stay on the floor. Next in-breath, inhale, heart and sternum reach forward. Top of your inhalation, pause there, broaden the collarbones, brighten the pose. Exhale, hands come to your hips. Pause here again, looping belly to spine. On your next in-breath, you come up to vertical. Fantastic. Top of that inhalation, suspend the breath, and then exhale, let the breath go. Bottom of the exhalation, let it completely go. Fantastic. Some of you will stay here. Some of you might choose to inhale and bend your left knee down to hover. And then pause there. You exhale, you come back up. Haha, you got 4 of those. And so we're just working with our breath. And we're not holding the breath. We're just finding our natural suspension by taking this fuller breath in and fuller breath out. We've got 1 more, just lowering the left knee down. Great. Next time you're up, go ahead and stay there again. Push into your right foot, push into your left foot, continue to breathe. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will sweep your arms out and up and overhead. And again, you're breathing. So that inhale, top of the inhalation, find a little bit more length through the vertebra. As you exhale, the core comes in and the exhalation keeps the stability. Nice work. On your next exhale, hands will come to heart center. Inhale, push your sternum forward, hinge forward at your hips. Stay there at the top. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. And you just pause and you breathe and you notice what you notice. 3 steady breaths. Nice work. Let's try the other side. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Top of your inhalation, find that suspension. Find the length in the pose. Exhale, kick your left heel a little bit higher. Root the right foot down a little bit more. Nice work. Inhale, find more length. Top of the breath, suspend that shape. And then exhale, left knee to nose. On empty, lower the foot. Nice. From there, inhale, broaden the collarbones. Maybe hands come to the floor or blocks. And then you exhale, scoop belly to spine. Okay, we're going to come up now. Inhale, heart reaches forward, gaze lifts, broaden collarbone, suspend it there. Exhale, hands come to your hips. On that suspension, keep pulling belly to spine. And then inhale, spine comes up to vertical. Yeah, find your breath. Fantastic. And then you can choose to stay here, or we're going to do little knee taps with our right knee down. So as you inhale next time, right knee will come down. You suspend the breath there. You hover and pause. And exhale, come out. We've got 4 more of these. What's the equivalent that you could do for this one? Last one. Actually, no, I think we have 2 more. And we just pause and breathe. And it's the last. And we just pause and we're breathing. All right, so this last one, we're going to stay up. Make sure you're still breathing. Next in breath, circle sweep your arms up and overhead. And you just take a few breath cycles. And we're not trying to force anything too much. We're just playing our edge. Our pranayama, our breath, which is really what we're focusing on today, is what comes after our asana. So it's actually a little bit more of an advanced practice. On your next exhale, hands come to heart center. You'll inhale and push your heart forward. Find the suspension, find the pause. Exhale, hands come to the floor. This time, step back to plank pose. Again, take your breaths in plank, find the suspension. And then when you're ready, you'll inhale, shift your weight forward. You'll exhale through chaturanga. You'll inhale through cobra or up dog. And you'll exhale back to down dog. And even as you do that, I'm not telling you to suspend, but you still suspend. You find the breath. The pose happens in the pause. Our lives, our relationships, our connections happen in the pause. All right. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and move on. Next in breath, raise to the balls of your feet. Hold the breath just a moment. Exhale, bend the knees. Empty the belly. On empty, travel to the top of your space. Yep. Look at you, Pam. And then inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, pause. Exhale, fold all the way in, empty all the breath, fill it out, fill that pause. Next in breath, halfway lift once again, broaden the collarbones, pause. Exhale, bend your knees, scoop the belly, pause. Inhale, sweep the arms forward to come up for Uttanasana, chair pose, pause. You're going to take 3 breath cycles here. And you're just focusing on making the inhale as long as it can be, as effortless as it can be, and you'll naturally find your pauses. And then the same thing with the exhalation, as long as effortless. Nice work. Next in breath, stand up, reach up, look up, find your pause, find your suspension. Exhale, hands come down to your side, find your suspension. Soften your gaze, close your eyes, and just notice what you notice. What is the feel of the body? What's the feel of the mind? What is the feel of the breath? Our pauses have this restorative quality, and yet there's something kind of frightening about them. I know when I swim and I have that momentary pause where there's no breath in my body, it's kind of terrifying. But Then you have this euphoric feeling afterwards. All right, let's go ahead and open your gaze. We'll all turn to face the left. We'll turn to face the left. And we're going to separate our feet. I liked this cue, so I'm going to steal this cue. This comes from Mark Stevens. He said one leg length and then a foot. So that sounds super awkward, but yes, one leg length and then a foot. Fantastic. And then we'll bring our hands to our hips. You're going to press to the ball of your right foot. And then you're going to spin your right heel in and your foot comes down. So hopefully now we're bisecting the middle of our arch. If you don't like that, by all means, please freaking adjust that. That's totally up to you. Now you're going to keep your hands on your hips and you're going to bend your front knee. And ideally, we're trying to externally rotate that front thigh and internally rotate the back thigh. Okay, and then we'll open our arms out like happy little somethings. Now, I didn't have a word for that. So you'll inhale and you'll straighten your front leg long. You'll pause at the top, and then you'll exhale and you'll bend your front knee. Butterfly. So I like that, Jenny. And then you'll do that about 4 times. You're just finding your breath. We're doing a couple of things here. From a yoga teacher perspective, when you're learning to teach yoga, you want to have expansive poses happen with the in-breath. So you're experiencing that right now. And you want to have engaging poses happen with the exhalation, which you're doing now too. So we're doing that. And the next time you come into your warrior two, we'll pause there for a brief second or so. Now you'll just, again, continue to pause or continue to breathe. We're finding our suspensions. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will lower your right forearm to your thigh or your right hand to the floor as you sweep your left arm alongside your ears. And you just pause and you breathe. And again, just like we did when we were on our hands and our knees, you inhale, you find that length from your left hand to your left foot. Top of the in-breath, you suspend the breath in the chest. You exhale, you rotate the belly to the spine, the right ribs under, the left ribs up. And then you just pause and you breathe. And then when we're ready to come out, you inhale and expand. So you inhale, you reach the left arm up, you return to Virabhadrasana 2. Hooray! You pause. You inhale, you straighten your front leg long. You turn both feet parallel to the short edges of your mat. You lower your arms. You close your eyes. You maybe circle your shoulders or not. But you just check in. You feel how you feel. Yeah. And when we're ready to try that on the other side, our hands come back to our hips. We come to the ball of our left foot. We spin our left heel in, and then we lower our left heel down. If that adjustment or alignment of the feet doesn't feel good to you, please adjust it. Then begin to bend into your left knee. From there, extend the arms out like butterflies, as Jenny just called them, and just feel what that feels like. The next time you need to take a breath in, you straighten your front leg long. Top of your inhalation, you suspend your breath, and then you exhale and rebend your knee. You've got about 4 of those, and you're just following your breath. Whatever you're doing is fantastic. Following your breath. Nice work, guys. I think we have one more. This will be our last one. Fantastic. So we'll stay here. You might choose to stay here in Virabhadrasana 2. You might reach forward through the left forearm, lowering it onto the left thigh. You might lower your left hand to the floor and then extend your right arm alongside your ears. And then again, you're finding the pose in the pause. So the inhalation always finds length expansion. The exhalation always finds engagement, tone, drawing to the midline. And you just notice what that feels like, how your breath can become a little fuller, a little deeper. Nice work. Soften your face. There we go. When you're ready to come out, the inhale will sweep you back to Virabhadrasana 2. You exhale and you stabilize there. And then you inhale, you straighten your front leg long. You turn both feet in parallel to the short edges of the mat. You lower your arms, you close your gaze, you take a few breaths. Circling the shoulders if need be. Maybe the opposite direction if you're curious about how weird that feels. Okay. Now, some of you, those of you with pretty open hamstrings, I want you to wiggle walk your feet closer towards each other. If you feel like your hamstrings are super tight, you'll keep your feet as wide as they are, if not walking them wider. From there, hands will come to your hips. You'll draw your shoulders up towards your ears. You'll draw your shoulder blades down on your back. And then start to exhale and fold forward halfway. Once you're there, lower one hand and then the other underneath your shoulders to the floor. Some of you will keep your hands here. Some of you will walk your hands forward as you descend your crown towards the floor. And then you just take a few breath cycles here. Yeah, look at that. That's fantastic. Yeah, and see if you can bring full palms back when they're stable in your shoulders. And then you just pause and you breathe. And hang on, let's shift your weight back just a smidge. Yep, and then see if you can walk your hands forward just a smidge. Definitely just move your legs. Good. And then we just pause and we breathe. We pause and we breathe. And then when you are ready to come out of this, walk your hands so they're underneath your shoulders. If your legs are pretty wide apart, you're going to bend your knees a little bit and wiggle walk your feet a little bit closer towards your midline. Okay, so walk them towards each other, right to left. There we go. Yeah. Fantastic. Now from there, we're going to pretend that for some reason we're all NFL football players. So you're going to inhale and reach your heart forward. Sorry, Charles, we're not lacrosse players. I don't know what that looks like. And then exhale, you'll scoop your belly in. Draw one hand to one hip. Draw the other hand to the other hip. Again, inhale, find the length, find the suspension. Draw the shoulder blades on your back. Exhale that belly to your spine. Hold the breath out. And then inhale, come all the way up. If you're dizzy, drop your chin to your chest. And then you just pause and breathe. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and add on. Walk your feet out for your triangle shape. So some of us will take a wider triangle. Some of us will take a more narrow triangle. It depends upon you. So again, we're going to lift to the ball of our right foot. Turn your heel in and your heel out. And then notice if you need to adjust right to left, front to back. And this time we're going to do something weird today. If you have neck issues, don't do that. If you don't have neck issues, do what I'm going to tell you to do. We're going to look towards our back hand. So you can wave to something behind you. Keep your attention on your back hand as much as you can. Now, take a breath in. Again, at the top of the inhalation, broaden the collarbones. Find that lift, find that suspension. Exhale, belly to spine. Now shift your pelvis towards your left hip, left foot. Great. Keep reaching forward through your right hand. Keep reaching back through your left. Keep reaching forward through your right hand. Keep reaching back through your left. Keep reaching forward through your right hand. Keep reaching back through your left. Your right hand will eventually find a block, the shin, or the floor. Fantastic. And then we're going to pause here. And again, you might choose to stay with your left hand up. You might turn your left palm forward and reach your left arm alongside your ears for an elongation along your left side body. But even though I'm not saying it, I hope you're still inhaling. Top of the inhalation, finding that pause. And then exhaling, deepening the engagement in the abdomen, finding the full, complete emptiness. Nice work. When you are ready to come out of this, you will inhale. You will reach your left arm all the way back up and back behind you to come all the way up to vertical. Whoa, yeah, we did it. And then lower our hands down. Turn our feet back to parallel. Take a moment to pause there and just notice what you notice between the sides. And then we'll try all that on the other side. Hands come to your hips. Raise the ball of your left foot. Turn your left foot out. Notice if you need to adjust your stance, either front to back or right to left. And then when you're ready, arms open out. If you have neck issues, do not do this. If not, go ahead and look towards your back hand. Wave goodbye so you can really see something's happening there. Now, next in-breath, find length. Suspend, find the breath across the chest. Now shift your pelvis back towards your right. And then inhale, reach forward through the left, reach back through the right, forward through the left, back through the right, forward through the left, back through the right. And magically we'll find ourselves in triangle pose. Left hand finding floor, shin, or block. And then you just find your breath. That's very pretty. And then you just pause and you breathe and you keep the stability in the feet. And you breathe. And you find your suspension, finding the pose. One more breath cycle here, really rooting. Yes, 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 through that back foot. When you're ready to come out, you inhale, you reach your right arm back, you come all the way up. Yeah. You exhale, you lower the hands, you turn both feet parallel to the short edges of the mat, you close the gaze. You maybe take neck circles or shoulder circles this time, but you just feel what that feels like. And then when you're ready, come to stillness. Softly open the gaze if the eyes are closed. Now, some of you will wiggle walk your feet in a little bit more depending upon how wide they are. You'll turn your toes out, your heels in. You'll pop the flat for goddess pose. And then you might lock out your arms. So you'll straighten your arms as much as you can to find a tractioning through your spine. And you sort of kick your butt back behind you as the crown comes forward. And it finds a nice stretch across the adductors, the inside edges of the thighs, as well as tractioning out your spine, depending upon how long your arms are. And some of you will stay there. Some of you might take a little twist to the right or to the left. But again, you're noticing the breath, you're finding the pause, finding the pause. Right. When you're ready and you're balanced between both sides, you'll come back to center. You'll release your hands to heart center, and of course, I'm going to make you sit here for 3. Deep breathing. For 2. Find your natural suspension for 1. When you're ready, you'll inhale, you'll push down, you'll straighten your legs. Off of the inhalation, find your suspension. And then exhale, let it go. Go ahead and release the hands, turn the feet back to parallel step or jump your feet together. And then turn to face the top of your space. Take a moment at the top of your space in Tadasana. You might grab water if you need that or not. I'm going to drink water. And then 2 more things before we're done. Okay. So standing at top of space, both hands, or if we're still on the water break, I will wait. Once we find ourselves at the top of our space, we're going to bring our hands to our hips. You're going to shift the weight to your right leg and float your left leg up. And you're just going to start making some tiny little knee circles. And I guess they're actually hip circles, but your knee is the one moving around in space. And notice if moving one leg suddenly made us, or standing on one leg suddenly made us stop breathing. Switch directions. And if you suddenly stopped breathing, maybe you want to go back to that. Okay. And we'll go ahead and lower the left foot to the floor. We'll switch sides, shifting the weight to the left leg, floating the right leg up, and you're making circles. And as some of you are discovering, the bigger you make these circles, the harder this becomes in your abdominal region and your supporting thigh. So you do whatever works for you. And then change direction. Whoa. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and release the foot down. We'll shift our weight back to the right foot. Hands come back to our hips. Next exhale, scoop the belly, find the suspension. The inhale, the left leg floats up. Externally rotate the leg. Draw the foot towards the thigh or the calf. If you don't like where it lands, use the left hand to accommodate. And then maybe hands come to heart center. Now in this pose, I want you to continue to pause and breathe. The pose happens in the pause. The wobbles are part of it. The coming in and out of it is part of it. But the pose happens in the pause. When you're ready to come out of this, you'll release the left foot. Nice work, guys. A lot of stability there. And then lower the foot down to the floor. You'll shift the weight then to the left leg. Hands come to your hips. Exhale, belly draws in on that suspension. Keep that. Inhale, float to your right leg up. Then externally rotate the thigh. Draw your foot to your left leg. And if you don't like where it lands, use the right hand to reposition it. And then hands to heart center. And you just pause. Are you still breathing? Is the breath still full? Is it still vibrant? And if you come out, great. Who cares? It's just yoga. Try it again. Ah, as long as you're breathing, you're doing it. Okay, and then we'll come out of this. Releasing the right foot, lowering the right foot to the floor. Shake that out in whatever way feels good to you. And we're going to go ahead and you'll widen your feet hip distance apart, and you're going to pop a squat into primitive squat. Some of you might want to slide a blanket underneath your heels if it feels like your heels are hovering off the floor in a way that doesn't feel comfortable to you. And if you're like, yeah, I'm okay with that, then you just stay with that. Fantastic. And then we'll go ahead and put our butt to the floor and extend both of our legs in front of us. Okay. Now, once we're here, last little thing. So we're going to cross our left ankle over the top of our right thigh. Our hands will come back like we're lackadaisically doing something. And then we're going to bend our right knee and plant our right foot on the floor. Now this is going to be weird, but we're going to do it in this order. I want you to flex your left foot. I want you to draw your left knee as close to your chest as possible, where literally you could kiss your knee, like your left knee is coming towards you. It's real close. Fantastic. From there, arch your spine. So your pubic bone will come forward like you're taking a cow shape. Flex through that left foot a little bit more. Keep that, and now push your left knee away. Do we find stuff in our outer left hip? Okay, cool. And then you just pause and you breathe. And so with our pubic bone coming forward, we're finding more of our neutral spine. We're rotating and actually engaging and stretching that left hip. And then you push down through your hands and you lift up through your chest. And you notice if you can still have a full in-breath and a full out-breath. And you notice if you have a full in-breath and a full out-breath, if you can naturally find the pause. You have the full, complete breath. The pause still exists. It doesn't have to be super long. It just has to still be there. Great. When you're ready to come out of this, you're going to kind of slump out of it. Slide your right foot forward, left foot forward. If you need to, little ankle circles might be nice. And then we'll go ahead and try the other side. So slump back. Cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Draw your left foot close to your pelvis. Go ahead and flex through your right foot. And this side's so funny today. You'll draw your right knee as close to your chest as possible, like literally as close as you can. And then arch your bum. So your pubic bone will come forward. And then from there, you're going to squeeze your outer right butt cheek as you press your right knee away from you. That's fun. And keep your right foot flexed. Find your full breath. Yep. Find your full breath. Find your full breath. We've got 2 more breath cycles here. Great. And when you're ready to come out of it, you'll just kind of slump out of it. So you'll release your hand back, you'll slide your left foot forward, you'll slide your right foot forward. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and turn around and lie down on our backs. When you find yourself on your back, make sure your blocks are somewhere easily accessible to you, and your blanket as well, and your strap if you're using one. I got you, Jenny. Or you got that. Fantastic. Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do, at least that I'm going to guide you through here, is we're going to take some supine twists. Because we're working on our breath, we're going to take our hips first. Well, let's go ahead and bend both of our knees and plant our feet firmly on the floor. You can open your arms out into a T-shaped position or a cactus, whatever works for you. And then from here, we're going to bend through or rather push through our feet, lift our hips and slide our butt over to the left. And then let our legs fall over to the right. Now you can take whatever type of twist you want. You might cross your right ankle on top. You might stack both knees on top of each other. You might choose to extend the bottom leg long and then drawing that left knee more towards the right. But you choose what's working for you. You'll know what's working for you because you'll be able to find the pause. Sam's like, not today. Do you need more space? Choose what works best for you. Don't just, okay. And then you'll notice what's working because you can find the natural pause. I think it's kind of like settling into ourselves as we get older. If we don't have to force ourselves necessarily to become more of who we are, it just kind of happens. I think the same thing happens with the breath. It happens with finding those kumbakas, those natural suspensions that are talked about. And so as you're here for these last few breaths and the last few suspensions, just notice what it takes for you to soften into that. And then we'll gently come out of this. So if you cross the right ankle on top, gently release that. Next in-breath, come back through center. Take a moment to pause in center and just experience whatever difference may or may not be there. And then when you're ready to try the other side, you'll bend your knees, you'll plant your feet on the floor, you'll lift your pelvis up, you'll slide your bum over towards your right, and then allow the legs to cascade and drop to the left. And then find the twist that works for you. So whether the knees are stacked directly on top of each other, whether that left ankle crosses on the top of the right knee, whether you extend your left leg long and let the right knee cross over the body and touch the floor to the left. And then if you can, maybe allow the gaze to come either up towards the sky, the ceiling, or maybe over your right shoulder, right hand. But again, you just pause and you breathe and you notice. Yeah, all right. If that left ankle is crossed, gently release that. And then inhale, come back up through center, re-square your pelvis underneath your shoulders. From here, walk your feet outside of your hips. Let your knees fall in towards each other. And then you can wrap your arms around your body to give yourself a hug. And you'll just take 4 to 5 breaths here with whatever arm is on top. And ideally, your feet are at such a distance that you're not having to hold your knees. Like a good type of architectural design where nothing is actually having to be engaged. If you feel like you're engaging anything, your feet or your legs, please adjust the distance of your feet. Okay. Charles. That looks good. So when you're ready, you'll inhale and open your arms, and exhale, switch whichever arm is on top. And really allow the weight of the arms to rest into the chest. Allow the weight of the knees to rest into each other. In this shape, I want you to ask from that internal space of quiet, from your internal pause, if there's anything else you may need to wrap up for today. So for some of you, you might want to just stay here. Some of you might want to choose Supta Baddha Konasana, Happy Baby. You might want to take a thigh root if you've got a strap somewhere nearby, even a supported bridge. So you choose based upon what will allow you to continue to deepen your inhale, deepen your exhale, find that pause. And then once you feel complete, you will gradually make your way to your final resting pose. And there is no rush, so you take the time. And those that are making their way to Shavasana already, or staying in constructive rest. That's a great pose to be in too. I want you to take the first few breath cycles. So take a big breath in and a big breath out. Yeah, and you'll do two more just like that on your own. And last one. And then as you let the breath fall to its natural, involuntary rhythm, the invitation today is to bring your awareness to your belly button. And with your awareness in your belly button, I want you to just watch the breath as it interacts, as it plays with your belly button. And you'll continue to be here with your breath for a few more moments. And I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in. Notice if there's any part of you longing to linger in this state for a little while longer. If that's the case, by all means, please stay here until you are ready to move on. The movement seems curious to you. Please allow it to re-enter into the body, whatever way feels nurturing. Those in stillness, stay as long as you'd like. Those in movement will gradually begin to make your way to one of your sides. Those on your sides, you'll take a breath or two there. And then you'll roll your chest more towards the floor. Press into your top hand and walk your spine up to vertical. When you are vertical, I encourage you to sit on something, whether it's a block or a blanket or a pillow. Well, technically, you can sit on your feet too. Similar to how we started, you'll just move the spine around in the little circles and a little movement until it feels comfortable for you. Plant the hands wherever you can so the chest stays open, the collarbones stay broad. And then we'll end today by just planting a seed for our presence for the pause. So bring your awareness to the tips of your nostrils and just slightly hold your attention there as you experience the breath entering your body. Your mental energy stays attuned to the tips of your nostrils. You experience and watch the breath as it comes into the body. Your awareness is at the tip of the nostril, and you just watch the breath as it enters the body. I think the reason that the Yoga Sutras talk about the Kumbhakas, and Mark Stevens in particular was fascinated with them, is because it seems that the pose does happen in the pause, our lives happen in the pause, our connections happen in the pause. Because it's only when we're still, when we're paused, that we're actually fully present. And our complete undivided attention on any one person or thing is always our greatest gift, our greatest attribute. And so as we leave our mats today and go back into the world, can we take that as an opportunity to remind ourselves that the best thing that we can do for ourselves and others is to just be present. We'll go ahead and complete our practice by drawing our hands to heart center Anjali Mudra. Press the palms into each other. Receive the weight of your thumbs into your sternum, and then allow your sternum to lightly press into your thumbs. Exhale all the breath from your mouth. Feel the suspension. And then inhale, draw the breath in. Top of the inhalation, feel the suspension, and then exhale, let the breath go. One more time on your own. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. Draw your thumbs to your third eye. May your thoughts be clear. Draw your thumbs to your lips. May our words be kind. And draw your thumbs to your heart center. May our hearts be open. The light, the breath, the suspension and presence within me honors and salutes the light, the breath, the suspension and presence within each of you. Namaste.